Hey guys, today I wanted to do a brief video about the launch lever, particularly in the one that I have. So if you don't know what a launch lever does, basically for a variated moped you want to have what's called a launch lever simply to allow the engine, allow you to manually control how the engine variates and when it variates. Usually you only need to push the engine back, keep it from variating, so that way you can essentially shift it into a lower gear and keep your RPMs high, so that way you can hit the pipe, power band more easily, etc., etc. So the launch lever that I have is an all-aluminum, I want to say it's either a Bigelow lever or someone replicated the Bigelow one. These are specifically made for the MBK 51V frames because it bolts right onto this spot right here. Now, one of the main reasons why I'm doing this video today is because I just found a 15mm roller bearing. What I was using before, or rather what came with it, because this was used, I bought it off some French racer, it was just a spacer inside, and the lever worked great. I did win the last race with it, so that was good. I was able to keep my foot down on the lever. It was completely necessary. But it did rattle, and I was actually a little worried that it was going to fall off and come apart, but it didn't. So if you can see now, I have the bearing in it. I have it adjusted a little bit tightly so that way it doesn't come off, but it's there and it seems to work well. I took this off just so I show you how this fits on here. Maybe I could do this with one hand. So this is the swing arm nut that goes in here, and of course I put this on the wrong way. Alright. Yeah, it's the lever itself requires a rod, ideally with a pivoting, I want to call it an eye bolt, but I know there's a proper name for it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And that's so that way, as the engine's moving, this rod isn't going to be straight, so you want it to be square with the lever and such. Now, okay, a lot of these levers come with an adjustable hole. This uses I think it's a 5mm screw or hole that's stock to the frame. This just keeps it so that way the lever doesn't move around when you're putting your foot on it and all your weight on it. Okay, I'm not going to tighten that down all the way. And let's remove this bolt. Now the lever rod gets connected to the lever. Simple enough. Let's tighten this up. I'm going to tighten it all the way, but here's the clearance to the swing arm. It's very close. Before, when I didn't have the roller bearing in, this nut was rubbing against the swing arm. It's pretty much a no-no. Anyway, I have one stock spring. It's the half spring trick, as a few people call it. So it does make it easy to move this around. And this is very, very, very smooth. If you want to know sort of the rough dimensions of this lever, I can measure it out for you. Just send me an email or a comment. But essentially, I believe that the base part, I want to say it was 12 millimeters thick, and this was 10 millimeters thick, the lever part. The bolt itself is 8 millimeters, and the hole in here, mine was 15, but they come, when they were produced, they were 16 millimeters. So it's easier to find a 16 millimeter roller bearing than it is to find a 15 millimeter one. I found the 15 millimeter one on mcmastercar.com, or yeah. This hole is for a 5 millimeter screw. I don't know. I think this is either an M8 or an M10. I think it's an M10 for the swing arm bolt. So that's that hole. And this, I want to say, was 25 millimeters wide. And if I had to guess how much deep, it's maybe 6 or 7 millimeters deep. So that's basically the rough dimensions of it. Here's a side shot. Yeah, smooth. You definitely want this for your variated bike, dual variated even. Try and get a launch lever fixed up. And quickly, here's the preview to race bike number 2. Stripped most of the paint down. I gotta go back and clean it up a bit. But we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'll have it ready for June. Looks like it's going to be more of a July thing, unfortunately. But as always, you know, patience, 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 and more patience. Alright, see you guys.